So you got your 3-year-old boy. You got Owen. 5-year-old. Edit. Take two. You got your 5-year-old.
Yeah.
You got your 5-year-old Owen.
Yeah.
Just knowing you how well I do know you, I know it's a big deal. And and you love that.
Of course.
How has having a child changed how you make or approach music?
I don't tour like I was.
Okay.
And I slowed down.
I feel
and stopped. Yo, I have a whole other album on the way, and the whole other album on the way touches a lot of that, like what exactly happened with me with it.
Right.
And it delayed a lot of stuff. It changed my perspective on a lot of things. A lot of stuff happened in that time period.
Right.
And beyond just having a child, it put a lot of pressure on me to make things work out right. But I'm the kind of person that when it comes to trying to do creative pursuits and having a child, I place the responsibility on myself to make things work.
Right.
Where I want to be able to tell him at the end of the day he can do whatever he wants to do, and I can prove to him like he can do whatever he wants to do. Whether it works out well for me or not, it doesn't matter, but I want him to know I still went for it at the end of the day. Cool. Yeah.
That's cool.
It's a big deal to me.
That's awesome.
And I didn't have that before, but I still did it, anyway, but you got added pressure.
Having something to prove and having someone to prove it for
Yes.
are a big deal.
Yes.
I dig it.
But it works against you too. The touring thing, man, I slowed down with that right away. I felt that pressure and like step back from it. It's intense, man.
It is.
Think about quitting your day job and
No.
exactly sleeping on some random person's couch.
I mean, that goes back to the enemy part. It's the things you allowed yourself to do and successfully did. I can't fathom pulling the trigger on that.
Only successful in the sense that I made it back home.
You're here. You're here.
But yeah.
All right.
Yep.
All right. So an oddball one.
Okay.
If you were any character in The Wizard of Oz, which one would you be?
Oh,
And why?
Oh shit. Glenda the Good Witch.
Fire away. Why?
I don't know. I just don't want to be any of them shitty people. There's a lot of terrible people in The Wizard of Oz, and I don't be as lost as Dorothy. You know?
I
could be the Ruby Slippers too. That would be nice.
There you go. There you go. I can see it.
The magic involved.
I can see it. That's a perfect answer.
Plus, I've been to Kansas. So, they have good barbecue in Kansas.
Oh man.
Oh, that was fun.
It was fun. All right. So, as an artist, what is your proudest moment? Whether it's a song, a show, work you did for someone else, a verse you wrote, whatever. What's your proudest moment that you contributed to music?
As an artist, I don't think that highly of myself. So, it's a big thing to contend with.
Mm-hmm.
The thing I have to remind myself is my proudest moment is every time I complete something.
Gotcha.
I feel that accomplishment. You know, when we pressed up a limited amount of these, I got to stare at a box of them, and I was like,
Gotcha.
And I do that every time. Every time there's a completed project, feels wonderful.
Right.
Every time I take a risky moment on stage,
right,
where I'm like, I don't know about this song, and I actually take a moment and go at it,
and everybody digs it.
Oh,
most of the time everybody.
Sometimes I go at the point where I'm trying to not make them all dig it. Right. But yeah, those are my proudest moments are those kinds of things. Definitely when you complete a project, you feel like you did another thing. I mean, I'll get into it with my half of the questions, but you have to have moments like that.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely.
Alright, let's see.
I should have said that sharing is caring. You my proudest moment.
Lost an opportunity. Yeah.
Alright, so my first question. I need you to talk to me about the song I covered.
Yes.
On the project. Things that start with H.
Alright. So, Things That Start With H was probably I think, at least for me, the most focused, real life concept song that I stuck to the theme through the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it was a good writing exercise when I had written the song, which happened to end up on the Sandbox set, the first Phonetics album. So Things That Start With H is based on the daily activity that I saw working at the very first pharmacy job I had. By career, I work in pharmacy.
Yeah.
I'm not a pharmacist, but that's what I do. I can pretend to be one, probably kill people, but it's illegal. So I worked at a good spot in Waterbury, which most people in Waterbury will know, Picket Drug on North Main Street. Unfortunately, it isn't the nicest section of town. That may be putting it mildly. What's funny about Picket Drug, just in the history of phonetics in general, I worked there, Rock worked there, Rock Boogie, J.K. Woman Supernova worked there, and the Protege worked there. Carlos is the only one that didn't work there, and he's the one that has the best, highest paying pharmaceutical.
But he makes pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, he's my DJ of my rap group is a chemical engineer. He's a doctor. He's got the masters in chemical engineering. So take that. Your DJ is cool, but he ain't that cool. So at Picket Drug,
my DJ makes pickles, by the way.
That's actually right there. That's actually right there. Mo Nichols, what up? So Things That Start With H is a song about most of the traffic of customer that came into
yes,
which were unfortunately for them, is I feel bad about it, and it's sad, is heroin addicts. As a pharmacy, as doing the best possible thing that we could do as a pharmacy in that area, we would sell needles. Which was legal to do. It stopped them from sharing needles, hopefully stopped disease, so they didn't get hurt, they didn't die, so on and so forth. But that experience of, and I have no problem saying it, being the white dude from Plymouth, which is kind of a farm town, to go to see that, that was a big culture shock for me. Even though I knew it existed, I never saw it presented to me in my face, and it was literally an everyday occurrence. So the first verse is about a person I don't know their name. I can picture his face, but he was very rough the way he came in, and his actions were mimicked basically by every other customer that came in doing the same thing. So that verse is about that, how I saw that. The second verse, which is about the female doing the same thing, there was quite a few handful of women that would come in, and you would be able to just watch the decay of them over the weeks once you recognized their face, and how quick it was, and how just how powerful it was to watch it take people down. And just people losing, from my viewpoint, people losing hope, people feeling helpless, and so on and so forth, and heroin being ages, and it all wrapped up into just my experience of watching that every day. Yeah.
Okay, I got a more fun one. How many, I need an honest answer about this.
MCs must get this?
No.
Oh.
I need an honest answer.
Okay.
How you might have been there beyond the camera, man. How many drinks did it take for you to perform at our release party?
Oh my goodness gracious. For a hot second I thought you were going to say how many drinks did it take for me to not perform at the freaking Freight Street show, where I laid down on the fucking ground yelling at the audience that I knew the lyrics. I just can't remember them right now. I'll tell you what, man. It took a couple. So, right up, not that far back from that timeline.
Yeah.
Me doing music has been for a long time, but being public with it was probably a shorter time span.
Yeah.
The Clash of the Titans thing.
Yeah.
The first Clash of the Titans show we did, between Spaz, Quest, Rock, and Jay, they performed like half the album.
Yeah.
And then Get Your Weight Up. That was our closing song.
Yeah, I remember I went to one of those.
I had the speaking part at the beginning of Get Your Weight Up. I legit, as a grown man, I legit made those 4 guys stand in front of me so I can crouch down and start talking because I had such devastating stage fright. And I slowly but surely felt comfortable because everybody was clapping. And I was like a little kid, like, oh, it's not embarrassing. So I kind of moved myself out of that.
Yeah, I remember me and Dre went to, I think it was the release show.
Yeah.
Technically. Was it the release show? You guys did like
a Gilgamesh.
Yeah.
That's what we did. We had like 3 or 4 shows there. But I'm pretty sure it was the release one. And that really never went away.
Yeah.
I just got a little bit more cocky. That's basically all it is. But that being up in front and talking to people, that's scary. So when we're performing phonetics songs, it's very easy to be, in my own perception, the corny white dude on stage and feeling like I'm the whack guy, standing next to Rock. Rock's going to carry the show anyway, so I can just be up there doing a goofball, walking back and forth and doing his ad-libs. I'm completely content being that. Same thing when Pro was up there. It's, he demands the
lively.
He demands the audience attention. Nobody's paying attention to me. For me to actually be the guy that everybody's focused on, that was difficult in its own right. And we performed "Kill Your Radio" every time, but essentially that was really the only song I ever performed, except for Fingers every now and then. But neither here nor there.
That was fun.
For me,
it's fun
to be on the stage by myself, and the focus of attention to have to do your song, to do rebel music, woo! That was rough. And so it was like six drinks. I would say if I had to put a number on it. 6 non-cheap drinks.
There's that footage that we had.
Yes.
He's like, bring it back! I gotta do it again.
I gotta bring it back. And what was it?
It's my show. Bring it
back. I had the piece of paper with the fucking lyrics. Proven called me out in the email. Called me a bitch for reading lyrics on stage. And I said, I don't care.
All right. Let's move forward.
All right, go on.
All right, so next question. Why are you so dope?
Actually, I don't know. It's my mom. That's what I do.
All right. Better question. What, and this is another, I need an honest answer for it. What is faster to complete? A verse or a beat?
A verse.
Oh, actually, can I add a third?
Yeah, sure.
A mix down.
Oh God, a verse. A verse, a beat, a mix down. That's the order of how long it takes.
Isn't that ironic though?
Yeah.
Considering like where you would be placed like to most people in their minds that would know of you.
As a producer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have a reason, I think I have an answer as to why.
I thought about that, like.
Yeah. Well, just for the sake of the answer, what is yours? What's fastest? What can you complete the quickest?
For me?
Yeah.
Maybe rhyme?
Yeah.
Maybe rhyme.
So
depends on the day.
I would say that since speaking is our innate ability, as folks that can talk, I think
yes.
I think, am I wrong though? No. Scientific fucking facts.
No, but there's like certain producers that bang out a beat, right?
Yeah.
In like 5 minutes. They'll be like, he made that beat in 5 minutes.
Right, so I mean, if you write 20 verses and you make 20 beats, the total amount of time you put into either one is the verses are going to happen.
Depends. I got certain songs that are still not done from like 2006.
You make a good point. But when you know that you have to crunch something out to get it on a project or get it done.
Yeah.
What you have to say, you have your way of going through it to say it, so you can accomplish that faster. When you're making a beat, think about what you're doing. You're taking nothing but intangible sonic pieces and arranging them in a way that not only you think is dope.
Some would say the same thing about words, though.
I think just the innate ability to talk is just so much helps kind of expedite the process. But maybe this is why I'm not an MC. I don't know.
All right, last one, fun one for the moment. Number five, yeah. Would be what's your favorite Aesop Rock song? That's my favorite Gangster.
Man. My gut instinct always wants to say Big Bang. And I think it's because Big Bang was the first Aesop Rock song that was like slapped me the fuck around.
Oh, you connected.
With realizing how intricate he is and how metaphoric he is.
Yeah,
and then still, like, that was the first song, you know, the joke about Aesop Rock, you don't really know what he's talking about until way after the fact.
Yeah.
Something about Big Bang was like, he's literally telling you this. And it's like, oh, god damn, it's so great. I'll tell you what, though. As MCs age, that motherfucker just gets better.
More fun.
Him getting more relaxed in himself and knowing himself better and going through his issues and so on and so on, speaking them out loud into existence. The Impossible Kid album is phenomenal, beginning to end. Every song on there is great. And Mystery Fish, just because it's such a dope fucking song, just in general, it's just fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Dorks.
Yeah, Dorks is great.
Dorks may take the cake now.
Yo, my son's favorite song is Kirby.
Kirby is fucking awesome. Dorks may take the cake now as being older and listening to him for so many years.
Yeah.
Just the way he goes back and forth between putting you back to that time, like, you know, him being around some of your favorite rappers, and you wouldn't believe how crazy they all are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just everything about Dorks, I think, may finally take the cake for Big Bang.
I need you to tell me the story of writing Son of Bob Ross.
Son of Bob Ross is a great track. So,
and if you do say so yourself.
If I do say so myself. So Son of Bob Ross was based off of your input. So you giving me songs to push me out of my comfort zone, which was not rhyming.
Yeah.
You had explained to me very recently, or
around that time, probably,
about your free writing exercises.
Yep.
And it's like, I remember sitting back thinking, like, I mean, that's like so smart and stupid. Like, why didn't I think of that? Just like write for the sake of writing. Write for the sake of writing to get your mind on how to make connections like that. So I did it, and it was probably the most fluid 2 verses I've ever written.
Because you just kept going.
It was just, and it was a simple plot as, when I get to that bar, I'm just gonna let that bar tell me what the next one has to be.
Yeah.
Where the connections are just a thread. It's not some overly grand, I have to get from point A to point B in this piece. It was just, let me just go, and you know what else rhymes with this word? This word. And that's how I'm gonna connect it. And
or this just happened.
And this just happened. I gotta tell you, it was really free to be able to write that.
Yeah.
That way. And knowing that I'm doing it like
I remember you talking to me about
I remember even just the opening line. Picture this bristleless brush. This like, it was like, oh shit, I wrote that. And it was just like, oh my god, this is dope. I didn't have to go back to a line and overthink it, not one time. I mean, I did that with This Much Hip Hop. I went back and, like, that verse had been being built for a long time.
Working on it.
I kept going back at it, finding the best way to say it. I did not have to do that with Son of Bob Ross. And it was, you know, by the time Bob Ross came up as the idea, that was really the springboard for how I started the song. And it was just like, you know what I'm doing? Just for no reason whatsoever, I'm just painting lyrics and I'm just going, because that's all Bob Ross did. So it was a really freeing exercise.
He painted lyrics.
He painted lyrics. A ton of fun. Such a dope guy. Anything I wrote after that, definitely was easier for me to write, because I put a lot of effort and time and overthinking into my writing prior to that song. So that was a big deal for me. That was a big deal.
Who was your first favorite producer?
DJ Premier.
Right first?
Without even question. DJ Premier was God. Hands down.
Do you remember why or not? Is that too deep?
No. So
the first kind of...
The thing that got me into hip-hop was just hip-hop. First and foremost. The idea of it. You know, and I can touch on little bits and pieces of why I ended up really getting involved in it. Third Base was a big deal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I had a tangible way to connect to that, and they still did hip-hop. MC Light's second album, Eyes on This, was absolutely instrumental in me loving hip-hop the way I did. Digital Underground, same thing.
Yeah.
And just to be able to have all that different...
I kind of imagined you would have said your first favorite would have been
Shock G. See, Shock G grew on me when I realized it was Shock G.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, Gangster,
Premier.
Words I Manifest, you knew it was him.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was like
the cuts, the chops.
Whoa, wait a second. At that point in time, I was still pretending I wanted to be a DJ. Production didn't mean anything besides the fact that, hey, these beats are cool. I knew where samples were from.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But DJ Premier and then that step in the arena and getting that, that was really the changeover to this is really what I want to do. I just never had the avenue to get to it until Primo.
All right. So 10 years, 10 years.
10 whole years.
What does this mean to you 10 years
10 years later?
This particular thing, you know?
I could tell you. I was thinking about this on the way up here. The 3 songs.
Yeah.
Right? That I did. The sound, inspired by our conversation, and then the Rebel Music cover. The outro, I love.
So funny. It's like I'm gonna refer to the ones, the 3 songs. The
3 actual songs.
The ones I produced.
You know, the ones I made. I will, and this is me being absolutely 100% honest.
I mean, essentially, you made more than that, but...
Well, yeah, I know, but they're the songs.
Okay.
You know, the interludes are great, and I love that.
Yeah, but you also technically also have as much interest in things that start with H.
Agreed. But from the producer side of me, which is my go-to, those 3 songs are still to this day the best that I've worked on.
Awesome.
Since then.
It's great.
It was a new time mentally. At that time we did this. It was new equipment, new location, new tools, new ideas, ideas that I wanted to hash out that I never had the opportunity to before. So being able to work those 3 out.
Production standpoint.
From a production standpoint, and then finished product too. Really solidified that that's exactly how I wanted to sound the entire time I had been making beats. That's what I wanted to sound like. This should be a no-brainer. This is an easy one. Favorite Gangster album?
Oh man, Hard to Earn.
Hard to Earn? Alright. Just for the record, mine's Daily Operation, but...
Yeah, it's a toss-up. It's a toss-up. And depending on the era where you got the cassette, Dwick was on both.
Very good point. How do you feel about the new song? Just as a side note.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I think so.
I actually love it. And a lot of people don't like J. Cole, but I think he's alright.
He did alright?
Yeah.
I just think it's great to hear Groove's voice again. That's really...
Oh, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Video is incredible.
The video was dope.
Yeah.
Was that his son? With the dreads?
I believe so, yeah.
Because he looks like you.
What?
You got curly hair.
I didn't do it.
Check it out. It looks like him. Just saying. What show does your kid watch that drives you nuts?
That drives me none. Here's the thing. I discovered as a...
Well, you're a better father than that, right?
No. His mom will watch shows and movies with him repeatedly.
Right.
I'm the one that makes him watch new things.
Okay.
All the time.
Watch this, Daddy.
So the thing that we watch repetitiously is Teen Titans.
Right. It's a good show.
It's 5-year-old. But otherwise, I try to make him watch different things all the time.
Gotcha.
Different Pixar movies, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so I don't do that. I don't do the drives me crazy thing.
Yeah, see, with Victoria, I think I got away with that, where everything was new and exciting, and I got to push her towards everything. But once you have more than one kid, it then it gets difficult, and everything you watch drives you nuts.
I only have one, so.
I've got 5 kids. So,
okay.
So, not necessarily your favorite now, or the best that you're perceived to as the best, but what was the most pivotal group, album, artist, or whatever that puts you into the focus of hip hop as it was when you first really was like, this is what I want to do? What was that
kind of like pushed me into like hip hop? Originally, probably LL Cool J, sadly.
Okay. There ain't nothing sad about that.
No, there is.
Well, maybe the way he's explaining his lyrics now, with prolapse anuses and pink cookies in a plastic bag, I could have let it rest.
No, I remember like recording like random LL rhymes on a karaoke machine.
Right.
But my my biggest inspirations are when I've been doing something and then I see somebody successfully doing the same thing I'm doing. Gotcha. I go, oh shit.
Yeah.
Coming across Pharoah Monch was big for me.
Mm-hmm.
Micah 9 was big for me. The first, I went in 2002, I went to God Loves Ugly album release party for Atmosphere.
Right.
That was a huge deal to me.
Right.
Aesop Rock, C-Raised Walls, Soul Position, Atmosphere, and seeing a crowd of people singing along to stuff I thought I was like one of the only people listening.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa, like blown away. But that kind of stuff, yeah, those were all big for me. Like affirmation more than inspiration kind of stuff for me.
I can do it.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna do this regardless, but
cool.
Yeah, then someone does something just like it, and you're like, oh, and there's an audience.
You now have the
I can justify like wanting to do that.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
All right, so all right, this is the big one. Make sure this is at the end. So, my last question for you, my friend Sketch.
Okay.
Let's go back to Channel 13.
Yeah, please.
All right. Between Fusion and Hold Up and Analyze.
These are public access television
Public access
shows I hosted.
Sketch was a star, Hollywood luminary. So my biggest question about that time is, what was up with those gloves?
Oh, I used to wear gloves and stuff. Yeah. I don't know. It's the style, man. I've had various things over the years, right? Things that have stuck with me. I wear a lot of ties. I perform without shoes on.
You have a tie on right now.
I do. I didn't even think about it, but yes, I do. But yeah, I don't know. I have different things, and at that time period, I was trying to figure out a thing. And here's a weird thing about me at that time. Not so much recently, but more so years ago. I dream color palette things. Mm-hmm. So I wake up and I'd have to like figure out like something that fit within that palette to like fully wear. I'd feel uncomfortable. It's anxiety probably.
I get it.
Yeah. So if I wasn't wearing the right like outer shell almost, I'd feel uncomfortable with like approaching the world.
Right.
So like the glove thing was a part of it. I think I wear, that's weird because I don't think about it very often. So I had like workout gloves I would wear.
Let me tell you why the question popped in my head.
Yeah, please.
So literally the last question I was debating today, before I was getting ready to leave. I was like, do I want to ask him about his dad because Pops is mad cool? Blah, blah,
yeah.
And then I was like, what was it about Sketch when I first met Sketch that made Sketch, if you will?
Yeah.
And I was like, the fucking gloves. So all jokes aside, and I know people have busted your balls about it before.
No.
I hear
about these.
I'm gonna let you know a little secret. We've all busted your balls about the gloves.
It's so funny.
And the rapping with the hands.
Oh, I already know.
And you know, as much of a funny ha-ha it may have been for us, there was something that you did that you always made a way to stand
Quest brought it up. Now that I'm thinking about it, Quest brought it up one time.
Because I'm pretty sure
from high school though.
Right.
From like high school.
But you always managed, and you still do it. You managed to find that one thing is insignificant as fingerless gloves that make you stand out. And it's like, wait, homie's dope.
Something's very odd. Yeah.
Exactly, just to make you stand out.
So
and that's actually my earliest memory. I will never forget you wearing fingerless gloves at Channel 13. Just pushing it now outside of those three songs.
Yeah. You're all over it. Yeah.
Well in 12.
Arguably, you're not on two things.
Well in 12 was a good release.
The beat,
just because I've always tried to be the, let me make something different kind of shit.
Yeah.
So it was freeing to be able to hit that and then, incorporate my new tools and all that other kind of shit. Same thing with Soot.
Yeah. You tried something else.
Yeah, I remember Soot.
I did that too.
Soot getting a bad review from somebody. I just don't remember who it was. Like, it's kind of just passed over. Like,
the Skittles track on that was like that too.
Right.
I made a really weird keyboard beat.
Right.
Essentially. No samples, none of that shit.
Right.
It was all keyboards and bass playing and stuff.
Right.
It was the same kind of thing. We were doing that all over that. Bunch of weird things.
It's just overall, it's a time capsule of exactly where I hit the point where this is how I want to sound.
There's a thing I want to mention before we're not taping anything anymore, and it's a contributor to the project because as far as I can remember, there's only one contributor to the entire project, and that's Semi-Rock.
True story. I miss much hip hop.
Do you have any fine words to say about Semi-Rock beatbox?
Yo, it made the song just that much better.
This much hip hop.
The production that when you handed me that beat, when the beatbox part came in, it was just like, okay, this is now the pinnacle of an idea I had already had, but never found the way to throw that together.
He helped make it.
He made it just that much more hip hop, which is what what the song's about. It was just the perfect fit. He did a bang up job.
He's an era guy for me too. He's another one with the era thing. I rocked with him so many times. He did so many inner ciphers and like all these things with us. Semi-Rock's out there doing his thing. Right. Probably still writing, hitting walls and such, and still beatboxing and everything. But yeah, it was an incredible contribution to the project.
Agreed.
It's weird because like it was something I thought about. I was listening to it, and I'm like, oh yeah, Semi-Rock's a part of this too, as well as like when we worked on Protégé's thing. The real oddball on the thing was that Silent Touch was on it.
Yep.
Because he was outside of that immediate circle, the phonetics circle or whatever. At that time, phonetic circle, I should say. But yeah, Semi-Rock. Gotta bring him up.
Gotta bring him up.
Gotta bring up Dirty Dutch for mastering it.
He did a phenomenal job.
You did the artwork for it?
I did do the artwork.
Yes. Incredible artwork.
I still do artwork too for album covers, and he wants to pay like $20-something.
But yeah, before we're out of here, I wanna thank you so much for all the things you contributed to, especially in that time period. 2009 was a big year for me. Productively, you contributed to a lot of it. We did Protégé's project that year. We did my Shoeless Flo Jackson EP, and when I moved away, you held down the Connecticut side of the album releases. And it's a big time period. We did some of the Maya stuff in that time period too.
You're right, we did. Which was awesome to finally hear out loud.
Yes. But yeah, the whole Ant Farm crew from the time period, it was a big time. It was big time, man.
Big deal.
Dutch deserves a lot of credit.
He does.
For his efforts.
He does. The sidebar.
Yeah.
Somebody on Twitter posted something about, listening. I wish you would go back and do your indie feed shit, podcast.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, nah, probably sorry.
Reissued all the indie feeds.
I was so disappointed that he was like, nah, I don't feel like doing that. Because he really made a huge impact with that. And gave, that was, from a national standpoint, that was probably all of our first, actual, for real deal exposure.
Bigger,
weeks ahead of time, hey, I want to put a phonetic song on there.
Yep. Big up NASA, too, who was a big mouthpiece for us in that time period. With Protégé's project.
I remember.
And with ours.
I had NASA tell me that he thought the mixing on that album was phenomenal. And it was great.
He was talking about the beats too.
He was talking about the beats.
Yeah, so Protégé's, you were like, I remember he interviewed you and you were like, Sketch is the same way about his beats as I am about the overall mix or whatever.
Yeah, it's just such an ass-backwards way to accomplish the
Mad Bloggers at the time put us,
I remember the Mad Bloggers
they went real big with us. Sharing is Caring EP, Dino 22, Sketch and Cataclysm, Sharing is Caring EP. The 10-year anniversary reissue comes out November 3rd.
November 3rd, 2019. Exactly 10 years since it first came out.
Hence the 10-year anniversary. Yeah.